All right, Tyler, we've got plenty of time to talk some football, but let's get to the really fun stuff. You have recently gotten married. What, 6 weeks ago? What is married life like for you right now?
Uh, yeah, married life's great. I can't complain. There's a reason I got married. My wife Elena, she's awesome, and it's been great so far, so good.
So let's see. So you just got married within the last several weeks. You've got an endorsement deal. You're trying to get ready for a season. How are you finding time to do all of this stuff?
It's been busy. It's been busy to say the least, especially rolling into fall camp. That eats up, all day, every day. But it's been a fun summer, but it's been busy.
Well, and on top of it, you have a nonprofit that you started. So to say that you're busy would probably be an understatement. Am I right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So take me through what is different about football now that you're married. How has it changed how you approach football?
That's a good question. Um, of course, I think priorities shift a little bit in a lot of different ways. When you have a wife or a family to take care of. But in another aspect, it keeps you a lot more focused. It's nice to just be able to go home and hang out and not really worry about anyone asking you to go out. Like the boys are, it's always good to be with the boys, but it's kind of nice to just be able to focus in and enjoy that time. But it's definitely different.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler. She's an athlete as well. She's a soccer player. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. So
Correct.
so how does that help you to have another athlete to kind of go through and maybe bounce things off of and kind of talk about some of that stuff?
It's actually great. She's always really happy, really optimistic. So that's always nice. But it's also great to be married to an athlete, and they kind of understand the grind. They understand the struggle, the time commitment, and just kind of the flow of collegiate athletics in general. So
Well, certainly congratulations on being married and all of the fun stuff that's happening in your personal life. Let's focus on the football field. I know things have started to transition more towards Arizona in week one. If you look back on the first couple of weeks of camp, how would you characterize it both for you and then for the defense?
man, um, it's been a great camp. It really has. I reflect a lot on last year's camp, just where that was, my first year, in a fall camp in college football. And this year's been really awesome. I think there have been a lot of unexpected, almost improvements. Just things that were just like, hey, like actually, yeah, things are almost flowing a little bit better than anticipated. I'd say, but a lot of guys have stepped up. Like we lost a lot of guys last year, but we've had a lot of guys step up and fill roles, and it's been great to knock off the rust and just get back to it. Every day in pads, knocking heads. So it's been good.
So, do you feel like that you are maybe where you thought you would be at this point? Do you feel like you're ahead of schedule from what you had expected? And if so, in what areas do you think?
That's tough to say. We're definitely always hunting progress. That's for sure. As for being ahead of where I would like to be, I don't know if I would say that quite, or be ahead of where I anticipated to be. Last year was definitely kind of rough to get injured, and that kind of threw a wrench into the off season, and then just trying to get healthy, stay healthy, and it would have been nice to have that time healthy instead of recovering. That's for sure.
Well, you mentioned that you guys are replacing a lot of production off of last year, and I know you guys have been asked a lot. Everybody on the defensive line has been asked about how in the world do you replace this type of production. Do you guys somewhat take that personally that maybe some people are counting you out?
Oh, totally. And there's nothing you can really do about that, right? I mean, if people count you out, they're going to count you out, and we'll just prepare and get rid of rock, and you know, show when we step up on the field. So, and that's exciting, and we're excited to do that.
So I want to ask you about the guys that you've been facing on the other side of the ball every day, and I want to ask you about the offensive line because Maybe not to the degree in terms of the number of guys that the defensive line lost, but certainly the offensive line lost a lot of production as well. Some guys playing in the NFL. What have you seen from the offensive line in these first couple of weeks of camp, and kind of give everybody an idea of what you've been going up against every day?
We have a lot of guys that are trying. I mean, we lost a lot of guys right into the NFL, um, and so again, just more. We have a couple guys that have returned. Well, we've also had some guys that have stepped up big on the O line. I feel as well, and are continuing to improve, learn, and progress. I think our offensive line, and especially the guys that have been here in the past, and the guys that we have currently, have set a culture for the O line. Just kind of high standards and tough. Just always ready to rumble. And so I think that's really going to influence and carry on into these younger guys as they come in and learn. They'll keep that culture rolling, and yeah, that we hopefully can just keep the ball moving.
You mentioned the word culture there, and I think that's actually leads into what I wanted to ask you next, because certainly when this coaching staff came in, they wanted to build their culture. I'm curious, and even though you only were able to play in a handful of games last year, how much did the success on both sides of the ball help in terms of building that culture that you can continue to build off of starting with this season?
Yeah, definitely. The culture preceded those wins last year and the successful season we had, and it's just something that has been building since Kalani got here, and I I can only imagine. It's kind of an arduous process, little by little, but I think what we saw last year was the fruits of the culture that has just been building. And as for the culture going forward, I don't think anything's changed. And so just gonna hope to continue with that culture and hopefully see some fruits of it as well this year. So
Well, let's focus on the week one opponent, the Arizona Wildcats. As we mentioned at the beginning of the interview, you guys have started to shift towards the game prep. How much do you know and what do you know about Arizona and specifically the offense, which is going to be new with a new head coach and new offensive coordinator?
right. So yeah, the situation with Arizona, is a little bit unique. Them bringing a new staff in. Um, I think we have pretty good grasp on what they're gonna be doing and what they're gonna be running, what they're gonna try to do. Um, and yeah, just a lot of watching film and analyzing kind of where everybody that's on the staff currently came from and what they were doing at all these different places, and kind of trying to get an idea of uh, of what they're going to do. But I feel like our coaches, of course, are doing a great job, and as players, we're just trying to do the same thing, just to make sure we're kind of ready for what they do throw at us come week one.
Their head coach, Coach Fish, announced today, actually, with just in the last little bit, that they're going to go ahead and use two quarterbacks. They're going to use two quarterbacks against you guys in the season opener. I'm just curious. I know you've had to at certain times prepare for a couple of different guys. How does that change when you may have two different quarterbacks that you're going to have to defend over the course of a game?
Right. I mean, of course, that always does influence game plan. If you have a guy that just sits in the pocket compared to someone who's a little bit shiftier and just trying to game plan, keeping him in the pocket or flushing him depending on his strengths. It'll be interesting, but we'll have a game plan ready when the time comes. So
I've got to imagine. I know I've heard just about everybody that we've talked to have all kind of said the same thing. They cannot wait for the season to get here. What do you anticipate it's going to be like going down to Allegiant Stadium, where it's going to certainly be a majority BYU crowd? I mean, have you given a chance? Have you had a chance to think about what that moment will be like for you guys to begin the year like that?
oh, totally, it's going to be special. It's going to be exciting, and hopefully, it brings a lot of momentum for the rest of the season.
Safe to say you got a lot of family coming down with it being
Yeah,
not the long drive from Utah County.
yeah, not terrible. So yeah, I'll have a lot of family down there.
All right. Well, Tyler, thank you so much for taking a few minutes. We really do appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way, and certainly good luck leading into week one. Appreciate it.
Hey, awesome. Thank you.